So far, all the examples we've looked at have bound the behavior to a local spot parameter, primarily for demo purposes, because it makes it easy to see what's going on as you just change like a slider here to affect the behavior. But perhaps more realistic is that a behavior is connected to something else in the system. So I have a couple of sensors hooked up in this system to a Modbus device, and these appear over here. So you can see there are two buttons. I can press this button or that button. You can see those inputs respond. So let's say we want to make something happen when this sensor, this external input to the system, is triggered. And again, we'll continue to play with this button here just to make a point of what's going on. Not that you typically would use a button, but just to make it clear what's happening. So we had this slider, move it like this before, but instead of connecting it to this slider, we will connect it to the input that is shown by this indicator over here. So we go over to the move behavior that we added to the button here, and instead of connecting it to the parameter that is the local slider here, we will be connecting it to the IO function that is the input number 1, and we're connecting it to that value so that when the value changes, it will cause this to move. So just to not be too confusing here, let's say we have a factor of 10. Now the input is either off or it's on, and when it's on it has a value that corresponds to 1. So we will take that 1 and multiply it by a factor of 10. So now if I activate this input, you can see it moves 10 pixels to the right. That's not a whole lot. So let's go back and say we have these 350 that we had earlier. Now, if I press it, you can see it jumps right over there. And if you want to have some kind of an animation happening as a result of an input, of course, this jump is not very pleasant. So you can also set a minimum fade rate, so you can specify what is the fastest motion that this should happen with. So let's set that to 1 second. Now if I press the input, you can see that it moves, but it moves gradually. So it moves over there and then it moves back. Okay, so now let's combine that with starting off screen. So we'll make it start at an offset of minus 350, which will move it off screen as we recall from before. So that makes the button disappear. Now when I press the external button, it slides onto the screen, and when I let go of the button, it disappears again. So that would be a good example of connecting a behavior to an external input and then also using this minimum fade rate.